But this week was one I did not expect. Did not expect. So this comes courtesy of AZ Toy Hunters Guild. Make sure you give him a follow and a subscribe. Always on the hunt. And see, I knew it. Upon further review, I typed a message and never hit send. I apologize, and I will proceed to slam my head into a wall as punishment. Sorry. Yep. Happens to the best of us. Happens to the best of us. So, over here, you'll see a long email on here. And a lot of people received this email who purchased the NECA TMNT sewer layer, right? Now, if you need a reminder as to what that was, actually, I wonder if they still show like their old stuff. Yeah, here you go. So this is a sewer layer, and NECA, similar to what Hasbro's been doing lately, NECA has been doing one-time like pre-orders. So it's not a crowdfund, but you got one shot at buying it. And they started it with just a normal sewer layer, and then they continued it with Donatello's lab diorama. And the idea is that you put all of them together and you make a massive sewer layer for your turtle collection, your animated turtle collection. So, we've all been very vocal about the layers and how they cost $300 for a couple pieces of plastic and some accessories. So I feel like a lot of us in the chat here have skipped these, even though if they were priced reasonably, I think we all would have bought them. Safe to assume. It's crazy to think that this diorama costs the same as a HasLab Ecto 1 with figures. So that, anyway. So, this was a very controversial thing. I think the first one was probably more controversial than this one, because this one was just like more of the same price-wise. But the first one, people were like, the hell? So, people bought this and they shipped, but allegedly, according to his email, NECA accidentally sent some people more than one. So imagine you're somebody. I would do a scratch ticket personally if it was me. Imagine you're somebody who saw the layer and decided, I'm going to hold off on this thing. It's too much money. I don't really need a living room set for my turtles, Scooby Life in the House, good to see you. You've determined I don't need a sewer, a living room for my turtles. I'm good. But then the sewer layer, or the diorama, comes out for the lab, and you're like, you know what I'm in. Maybe you watch some reviews of the living room, and you're like, I wish I would have got it, but I'll get this one anyway. So imagine you wanted the first one, didn't get it, got the second one, and all of a sudden 2 show up at your house. That'd be freaking amazing. Again, I would do a scratch ticket on that. 2 for the price of 1. Absolutely amazing. NECA decides, hey, we made this mistake. I think the best course of action here is to ask people to send it back.
Boo! Boo! Rubbish! Filth! Slime! Muck! Boo! Boo! Boo!
Shout out to Patrick. No, Craft in the house. Craft collects. So NECA sent out this email, and I'll read part of it for those of you who are just listening to the audio version only. Thank you for being a loyal NECA customer. We're writing to inform you that due to an unexpected error in our shipping system, you received an extra Donatello's sewer layer lab diorama by mistake. I wish after that they did like LOL or like a shrug thing. We sincerely apologize for the mix-up and confusion. To help us resolve this situation and ensure there are enough dioramas for customers who bought them, we kindly request that you return the extra product to us. We will provide you with a prepaid return shipping label to make it as easy as possible. Imagine they sat down and they said, this is the best course of action. Just send it back. Send it back. Somebody definitely got fired for this. Somebody definitely got fired. I mean, if we're talking like, now this is a whole separate issue, but if we're talking less than like, I don't know, 20, I'd say just mark it up to the game, call it a day. Even I'd say in some cases, 50, but I understand it's a lot here, but between 20 and 50, I'm like, if you sent out more than 50 or like 100 extras for no reason, yeah, someone's getting fired. But again, it's out there now. Call it a day. Call it a day. You messed up. Aaron. I just realized my AirPod case was in my pocket, so I can put my AirPod away. But they decided the best option here is obviously to tell you guys to ship it back to us. Now, this is where it gets interesting, right? Third paragraph or fourth paragraph, because they have the instructions. We profusely apologize for the inconvenience. Upon receiving the diorama, upon them receiving it back from you, we will provide you with an extra $100 NECA store credit to use on your next TMNT purchase as a token of our appreciation. Here's where it gets interesting. Failure to return the diorama may result in limited opportunities to buy future products from the NECA store. They are telling you if you do not send back your Uber Eats order that you were not intended to receive, right? Like you're eating the food, right? If you don't spit the food back into the container, close the container, put it back in the bag, and return it to the restaurant, then you could potentially be banned from the NECA store.
Boo! Boo! Rubbish! Filth! Slime! Muck! Boo! Boo! Boo!
I don't know whose idea it was to include that sentence there. Ultra Cardizilla in the house. Good to see you. I don't know whose idea that was. Thank you for understanding and cooperation as we work to correct this mistake and prevent it from happening again in the future. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact our customer service team. I said I was going to read the whole thing. I did. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. General Kenobi, good to see you. It is wild. That is wild. Absolutely wild. Here's the thing. NECA, in my opinion, like many toy companies, I'm not even going to say it's exclusive to them at this point. Creativity from the future. Good to see you. Oh, that's why I love the show. Blue Sasquatch in the house. Yes, it is live. Good to see you. Love the mask. Most toy companies, I feel like, are on the ropes right now because as the economy is where it is, and as we're all like approaching the holidays and we're penny pinching and paying more for gas and groceries and all these things, we have less money to spend on bullshit. At the end of the day, all these toys, all these proton packs, these Captain America shields, it's all bullshit, right? These are all just dispensable income, right? So these companies now are literally fighting each other for this dispensable income that we have. And you decide to tell people, we're going to potentially ban you from our website if you don't send this back. And in my opinion, the reason that this is such a hit to them is because they are on the ropes as far as sales go. They're on the ropes financially. I saw Dave in the house. Good to see you. Are they going to hang themselves? Mr. Man Collects, good to see you. Oh, thank you, Blue Sasquatch. Thank you very much. I'll get my point out and then I'll go back to the comments. So NECA, in my opinion, is on the ropes. Gargoyles seems to be DOA. Turtles are starting to shelf warm at stores. I don't know about you guys, and a lot of us have noticed this. A lot less NECA stuff is showing up at Target. A lot less is showing up. And there's a lot of items that you've seen over at the collector's, what was it, the collector spot at Target, a lot of the NECA stuff is just collecting dust. It's just kind of sitting there, especially gargoyles, unfortunately. Horror stuff sits there. At Best Buy, kind of sits there. So I feel like they're already feeling it. And by doing something like this, it does not help the cause. It does not help the cause. Do I think this is something that will blow over in another week or 2 weeks? Of course. Of course. I think for this story to continue, they would have to do something extreme, like canceling people's orders. You know, maybe somebody who got to, all of a sudden they get an email saying your pre-order for X, Y, and Z is canceled. Then I think the story continues. But I think they're not winning over any new fans. They're not doing themselves any services here by telling people, we'll ban you from our online store if you don't return this $300 product. And to the point of Patrick earlier, I don't even need to go to your online store. Most of the stuff is in stores, even though sometimes it's hard to find. Like I still have not seen Tatsu, but there's still a way I can get it. Somebody will find it for me if I had to. People have messaged me saying they have an extra one if I want it. So NECA doesn't do themselves any services here. As far as the movie line, the 1990 movie line, it's at the end of its cycle, right? Like at this point, everybody who wants the Turtles has them. You're now seeing other parts of the NECA movie line shelf warming. I never would have thought I'd see Turtle movie stuff sitting there. 2 packs of Turtles, Turtles in Time, not the official name, but that's what it was. Kino 2-pack sitting there. Foot Soldier 2-pack sitting there. Never would have imagined. Never would have imagined that stuff would shelf warm at a store. But alas, it is. And I'm not sure how much more is in the tank for the NECA line when it comes to Turtles. Do I want to continue? Obviously, I do. I love the Predator figures. I love the Turtle figures. All of it. But doing things like this doesn't win you any new fans. And in a time like this, you need to keep in people's good graces, because what little money we have to burn on toys, you want to be the company that when I go to the store and I'm looking at in the collector section, I'm looking at a Super 7, I'm looking at a NECA, and I'm looking at a friggin' stupid ass Funko, I end up going with yours versus the other ones. That's what you need. That's what you need to happen. Stuff like this doesn't help you. We'll see what ends up happening. We'll see. But I'm curious, if NECA was to lose, worst case scenario, if NECA went out and Turtles had to go somewhere else, who would you want? Who would you want? And by the way, where the hell is Super 7 with those 2003 Turtles? Where are those at? Let me catch up on the comments here. I think I was around here. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Ultra Cardzilla said, I gave NECA a ton of coal as they failed to make new Terminator figures for its 40th anniversary, and it shows that NECA don't care about Terminator anymore as they never made new ones over 4 years. You've talked about that a lot in a couple streams I've seen you in, and you're correct. There's not been a lot of NECA Terminator figures. They don't sell. I mean, ultimately, there's very... I think that an issue that NECA has is the lines they have are great. There's a lot of love in them, right? And by the way, I love NECA, so I don't even want this to come across as like, I mean, it's kind of a hit piece in a way, but I'm a fan and I don't want them to fail. NECA has done a lot of great things with some iconic franchises: Turtles, Predator, Aliens. But ultimately, those franchises, like as far as what people want to buy, it's usually the main character or characters in the case of Turtles. Like it's usually what you want to get. When it comes to Terminator figures, you kind of want Arnold, and that's it. That's really what, if you line a shelf, the Arnold stuff probably goes, the rest of it sits. And even when it comes to Terminator, it's only the OG movie stuff that moves, and T2 that moves for Arnold. I remember seeing, was it Terminator Genesis? That Arnold? I thought it's a great one. The old man Arnold. It's a great figure. Nobody buys it. I've seen that thing collect dust for almost like 2 years now. People just don't want that. They just want T2 Terminator stuff. And even in T2, people only want Arnold. So I can understand why some of these lines, NECA kind of just stops, because once the main characters are out and once your customer that's willing to spend $30 on one figure has bought the main character they want, they kind of stop. Look at Predator. You go to a NECA section. If you go to a NECA section right now in Target, I guarantee you it's a bunch of gargoyles, right? Like Angela that nobody wants. A bunch of gargoyles, a bunch of random Predators. Jungle Predators is always gone. But all the other ones, like Predator 2 figures, they just sit there. Those sit. You've probably got a couple horror stuff there. You got a couple Chuckies there. You have, if it's Alien, you just have the Alien like xenomorphs there. The humans are gone. And you probably have, if you're unfortunate enough, some of those monster figures, like from the Monsters. So, if it ain't the OG4 from 1990 movie for Turtles, if it's not Arnold from T1 and T2, if it's not, Jungle Predator, it's not going to move. Now, I think you talked in another, and I got to scroll down. Maybe you say this. They should have made a Danny Gulliver by now. They should have re-released the crew from Alien 1 by now. They should have given us, another run of the T2 Arnold. That they've not done that. I keep seeing the T1000, but we need another Arnold run. So there's things they can release, but at a certain point, you can't just keep releasing the same one character. Unless you're Super 7 and you keep dropping like new Lionel figures every 5 seconds, trying to survive as well. So, NECA who? Racing hi each other. Marvelous in the house. Good to see you. EC in the house. Good to see you. Actually, EC's that's a guy I talked to right there. EC collects the Predator figures, and EC will tell you that it's probably easy to find all those Predator figures, and the rest of them kind of sit there. He pays attention to that. It just is what it is. Like, they're great figures, and I think anybody who looks at a Predator figure is like, wow, that's really dope. But not a lot of us are willing to buy a whole tribe of Predator figures. EC's one that loves them. I love them too. I don't know anybody else in the chat that collects Predator figures outside of maybe you have Jungle Predator from the first one. Chat, don't forget to leave a like on this awesome stream. Thank you very much. Marv in the house. Did I say hi already? I'll say hi again just in case. Happy belated birthday. Turtles on clearance. Yep. Never would have imagined. Exactly. Imagine going back to 2020 and telling yourself, oh, don't worry. The 1990 Turtles, they'll shelf for them. You'll be able to find them. Secret of the Ooze, you'll find them easy. Imagine. I would have thought you were high. I hope NECA loses a Terminator license, and I hope someone like Hiya Toys gets a license to make Terminator figures at 1/12 and 1/18, especially the latter, as 1/18 is my go-to scale. Yep. Aliens, the movie figures are so dope. Yeah. Like, I don't have any human characters from Alien. The only one I've seen is like the black guy from is it the video game or the cartoon? I want to buy that figure just out of like nostalgia, because I remember being a kid seeing that figure, thinking it was cool. But, and I remember seeing Ripley in the spacesuit. She was there for a while. What's the robot from the first one? He was on clearance. Like he was all like destroyed. But like, where's like just traditional Ripley? Like regular clothes. Where's that figure? Where's my Arnold in mud? Give me that one. Yeah, the movie figures are so fucking dope. I love Hiya. No one. EC, I love the Hiya Toy Predator figures as they looked awesome. My J. Joe 1/18 scare figures, yeah. Saying hi to each other. I was so blown away when I got my first Higher Predator. Never expected what I unboxed. I'll look into that. I will look into that. Steve in the house. Good to see you. There are Terminator fans that wanted Terminators from Terminator 3 and Salvation, but NECA never makes them. They probably won't sell. I want a T600 Terminator made by NECA, and they refused. Yeah, I have a whole NECA Terminator collection, also the TMNT. All right, there you go. Somebody else. Predators sell by me. You mean you buy them? Sorry, I'm just going to jump down a bit. NECA doesn't complete the entire Colonial Marines from Aliens, as we never gotten Drake, Tim Crow, Apon, and other more, and fans want them made, but NECA doesn't listen to fans. I don't know if they no, they did it, but I'm telling they should rerun that. That's an old ass figure. Like the only Arnold I have from Predator is him from the beginning of the movie with the red shirt, and he comes with the map and all sorts of stuff. And that's because at Comic-Con, actually shout out to Anthony, he bought that for me. At Comic-Con, they did a Out of the Vault, and that was one of the figures. That's the only reason I got it. Otherwise, I'd have 0 Arnold Predator figures. And they never made a Danny Glover. So that's when you need. Yeah, that should be in a store. Even that old ass mold should be in a store.